name's Justin, I'm a barber at Uncle Joe's in King Street. Today I'm going to do a little tutorial, talk you through a bit of a step-by-step of the taku cut. You want to come through? The first thing I do with the cut basically at the start is to decide whereabouts I'm going to put the part. With this cut it is an asymmetric cut, which means that either side of the part is going to be slightly different lengths. So I do actually put this one a little bit higher with wedges just to leave one side that I can actually line up to give a nice sharp shape. So put that through first, then I can decide the actual shape of the fade that I'm going to put in there. Also with the part line, you can see that I'll line up with the clippers, but I'll also use the razor blade just to get that real tight, clean look. I can create a real straight line with my blade as well, curving it towards the crown. The next thing I do is to take my fade up with steps. I'll put a line in with my skin faders in there first. With this cut I decide to actually curve it around the ear, just to leave a bit of a shadow towards the front. So when I outline it has a bit more of a darker outline rather than continuing a straight sort of fade. So I'll put my line, you can see I drop it towards the back, and then my next layers as I'm going up the haircut ends up following that exact same pattern. See that I actually leave the excess hair underneath this. The reason I actually do this is because I think not only does it create a bit of a dark outline, so any sort of problems with the fade as I'm going up actually stand out. It almost creates a bit of a frame. Also at the end then, I can just do all my razor work at once. So I'll put my 0 in, I'll put my 1 in, put my 2 in, and then my next job is to actually blend these steps in as I'm moving up the haircut. I like to start my fade from the bottom, and from then I'll move up in stages, slightly extending whether it's putting a guard on or opening a blade every single time. I might leave a little bit of a line, then I'll work backwards, rub that line out, and then continue on to the next step, move it up until I've fully blended it into the hair. When I'm doing my blending work, I like to use scissor over comb, but also quite often I do like to use the old technique of a clipper over comb. I find it, not only is it quite speedy, but I mean, you're using the machine, it's very accurate. I find it can give real sharp lines on the fade, so you're looking directly at the front, you get that nice square look. I can also do a bit of a freehand technique now and again, just to go directly on the side of my hairs that are sticking out, just so from any angle it looks real sharp. The final step I do after my fade, I think the fade is looking pretty good, is that's when I get my razor blade out. I'll go around at any sort of line work I've already created with the clippers, and that final bit of hair down the bottom, I'll lather that up and remove it, being careful with my blade not to go any higher than the line I've already set above the hair. If I was to go higher, I'd mess up the whole sort of shape that I've put in there in the first place. So this bit does take a bit of care with your blade. To finish the haircut while it's still damp, I do add a little bit of mousse in there. The reason I do the mousse is it adds a little bit of volume. It also gives it a slight sort of hold, so when it's actually dry, it sort of looks finished and it's a lot less work to do with the pomade. When it's looking about the right sort of shape, it's stuck down in the correct places, then I'll add like a wet look pomade with a little bit of a shine in there. Also it's still manageable, doesn't set too hard, and I'll comb that through. The final thing I'll do is actually hold the shape of the head and I'll just lift it up a little bit with my comb towards the front, just to give that pompadour sort of look. Well, thanks a lot for watching this little how-to video on the taku cut. Hope it can help you in some way. Stay tuned for some more future videos.